I am going to be perfectly honest with you all. I was not looking forward to seeing this movie. When I first saw the previews for it a couple months back, the first thought that came into my mind was, oh boy, great. Another teeny-bopper comedy that girls can take their dates to. That being said, I actually wasn't disappointed by this film. I was pleasantly surprised. Was it flawless? Hell no. But I got a couple chuckles out of it, and the audience enjoyed it, and I think that's what matters in a film like this. Even for it being a somewhat redundant cheerleader film. So what we've got in this movie is two guys who are the stars of their high school football team, and they're not on the team to try and get a scholarship and get into college. No, 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 no. These guys are on the team simply to get laid. They are there to have sex with the girls who love them because they're on the football team. That's it. Now one day they hear that there is this big cheerleading camp every year, and that the girls from their high school and many other high schools are going to be going to this cheerleading camp. So the thought that runs through their mind is, well, instead of going to football camp and be surrounded by guys, we're going to go to cheerleading camp and be surrounded by girls and be able to have sex with all of them. My first problem with this film is, if you're the stars of your high school football team, aren't you getting laid plenty already? You don't need to go to cheerleading camp to get more sex. You're getting plenty already. But then, of course, they couldn't draw out this movie to 130 minutes. Secondly, does anyone believe for a second that these guys are in high school? Look at them. I think they're older than me. They're probably 27, 28. Yet you have them playing 18-year-olds in high school? Bullshit. Can anyone say statutory? Damn. So anyway, the plot proceeds from there. The guys go to the cheerleading camp and the shenanigans follow. Now, the biggest highlight of this film for me was one John Michael Higgins. He was hilarious. I loved him in this film. He plays Coach Keith, I think was his name. And he was funny whenever he was on screen. Now, the rest of the cast was good. They were by no means great, but they were good. And after a while, I actually did kind of forget that these guys were completely overaged for their parts. And the comedy they give us is pretty good. You get a few laughs here and there. Now again, like I've said, this movie is not flawless. There are many corny parts in this film. It's quite girly at times, and guys are just going to groan and sigh at some parts of the film. And there is a lot that revolves around cheerleading. And I can't get into that. I'm sorry. I'm a guy. I can't sit there and watch them do this stuff. Now, one thing that I don't get about this movie is that it's basically a sex movie without the sex. So let me explain that a bit. This is a PG-13 film, so they obviously can't put in any full frontal nudity on here. Basically, we're told that these guys are going to be getting a ton of sex, but we never see it. So what we get a lot of is these beautiful girls who are dressing and undressing, and as soon as you're about to see their full beautiful bare body, it cuts away to one of the guys. Come on. There's even this one scene where there's this girl and she's naked in the water with the blonde guy in the film, and she's about to stand up, and then it cuts back to the blonde guy. Thanks a lot for teasing me. Damn. So, final rating. This wasn't that bad of a movie. I still think it is a bit of a teeny-bopper film that girls can take their dates to, but I think anyone around my age will enjoy this film. And I will admit it, I got some laughs out of the film, but it is by no means a classic. This isn't something that you should pay full price for. And just the concept of the film kind of screws with my head. So I'm going to give this movie 3 stars. I think if you're around my age, if you're going in with a date, this is a pretty good date comedy. You could pay a matinee, go in there and enjoy this film. Now, if you are not around my age, if you want more highbrow comedy, this film's not for you. You might just end up renting this if you ever decide to see it. So, if you enjoyed this movie, you can start looking forward to Fired Up 2, when the boys find out that there's a Girl Scout Jamboree in town, and there are even more girls at this one than at the cheerleading camp. You know, I'd make a brownie joke, but even I'm not that tasteless. Take care.